Hello, everybody, and welcome to the 2024 inaugural version of the Trusted Visions podcast. We welcome you. We hope you had a terrific New Year's and brought it in with the bang. Jeremy, we welcome you as well, and I appreciate everything. It looks like you're having a terrific time out in Hawaii. But in this podcast, we wanted to kind of give a recap of 2023 and just where the industry has gone over the past year.
Yeah, John, it was a great New Year and Christmas for sure. This is our last day in Hawaii, which, as you can see, it's absolutely gorgeous. I guess we're going back to reality. But yeah, 2023 was a crazy year. You read a lot of articles about advisor movement was down, and a lot of people were saying, well, why was that? And I think there was a lot of uncertainty with the market of interest rates being as high as they are going into an election year. What does that mean? And I think it was a lot of wait and see. Is my broker dealer going to, fix the problems that they're having?
Right.
And I think, and I'll get into that with your next question. I think a lot of advisors' mindset has changed after the wait and see ordeal. I think the other side of it with 2023, you've seen consolidation continue to happen. That's only going to continue to happen with some of these broker dealers. There was 2 or 3 major announcements of broker dealers being sold that a lot of people didn't even suspect that those broker dealers were going to be sold. The reality is that trend is going to continue. I think the biggest thing in 2023 that we seen was the huge transition checks. I mean, I've talked about this in previous podcasts. In my 23 years of doing this, I've never seen transition checks nearly as large as they were before. I mean, you're seeing on the independent broker dealer side, transition checks being 100, 125% of trailing 12, while still getting those high 92, 95, 96% payouts. I think that's one of the trends that really excited people. I think the last thing that I would touch on in 23 that I never really seen in my time in the industry was these broker dealers getting more creative to keep advisors either in their seats at their broker dealer and or attract more advisors in addition to the transition money, where you're seeing a lot more broker dealers getting creative and saying, hey, John, we'll take a minority stake or a majority stake in your OSJ, your enterprise, or even your practice. You could still stay doing your business, but providing them with a liquidity event. And I think that's going to continue for many years to come. But it's for those advisors that think giving up a minority or majority stake that you're going to be working for them, that's not the case. And it can actually be a really attractive offer if you have a 5 to 7 year runway before you're trying to exit. So it was an exciting time in 2023. I think 2024 is going to be even greater.
So from a 2024 standpoint, do you see that continuing where the creative plans to keep those advisors from exiting the firm are going to continue? Where do you see 2024 going?
It's funny because, like I said, 2023, I was a little surprised that advisor movement was down year over year, given all the factors that I just talked about. I would say for us personally at Trusted Visions and the conversations we're having and the things that we're hearing from other recruiters is I think advisor movement is going to dramatically increase even in the first quarter. I mean, our pipeline alone, we're set to have a company record for first quarter 2024. And I think to the point that I said previously, a lot of these broker dealers, if they were bought or sold or, their broker dealer went out of business, they kind of said, hey, I'm going to wait and see if they can fix the problems because there was a lot of false promises that were given to them that are now realizing, you know what, they're not fixing their problems. I mean, some broker dealers have problems, but yet they're going out and buying more broker dealers. Some broker dealers said, hey, we're not going to roll you up into one, we're rolling you up into one. Some broker dealers are considering going public. And advisors in our audience just don't want to go through that turmoil and those issues. And now that transition money and better stability is really becoming more important to them. And so I think 2024, it's going to be a record recruiting year because, again, it's a race to scale. And all these broker dealers, I don't think that the transition money is going to sustain as high as it is today. I think it'll be there for the majority of this year. But after that, it's going to go back to more normalization of, an independent broker dealer is offering you a 95% payout. They just can't afford to be giving you 100 and 125% of trailing 12 forever. And so I think as we see interest rates start to slow down or go down, I think with an election year, the transition money is going to slowly start decreasing. And it's not, to our audience, I'm not saying this as a panic moment of, hey, you got to do something today. But
Right.
it goes back to all of our points of saying, hey, you know what? At least know what's out there so that when the time comes, you're ready to move, whether it's now or 6 months from now, you know what's out there so that you're not left scrambling. I think the other side to consider is the consolidation of these broker dealers is going to continue. I mean, I think, again, going back to the race to scale, all these broker dealers are trying to get larger. You got some firms that are attempting to go public, whether that's this year or next year. And so they're going to be swallowing up more broker dealers because they want to get the best IPO price. I think going back to 2023 with some of those acquisitions that happened, these broker dealers, unfortunately, in my opinion, made promises that aren't going to come to fruition and are going to go back to those false promises where these advisors say, enough's enough. Like, I'm tired of the lack of transparency. So that's where I think 2024 is going. And the advice I would give to our audience is now is the time to really know what's out there. And if you haven't explored your options, whether it's 30 years ago, whether it's 2 years ago, at least know what's out there, because as Stacy and I have said, John, you know, the one thing that's constant in our industry is change, and that's only going to continue. And I think to our audience, do your due diligence and know what's out there, because you don't know what's around the corner. And I think 2024 is going to be a really exciting year.
Well, that's great information there. Jeremy, for somebody needing to contact you, how can they reach you?
Yep. So for me, you can contact me. You can call or text me anytime. John will attest to this, 480-430-5012. Call or text me anytime. Or you can email me at info@trustedvisions.com. And feel free to comment on the LinkedIn post of this video of whose background's better, because I'm tired of John making us look bad with how good his backgrounds are.
Well, you know, it'll continue for the rest of the year, so just get used to it. We appreciate everybody coming by and visiting today. We look forward to a grand new year for 2024.